there wasn't a lot of like news coming out about the new season and what was coming. And when we finally did get news of our big cinematic featured film, as I like to call it, for League of Legends coming out, it it rolled flat. It was not what we all expected. It came to be pretty much the, what's a nice word to call it? It was a slideshow. It pretty much felt like a slideshow that had background noise of the League of Legends esport ecosystem, of like the casters doing all their big calls at some of the tournaments they've done over the years, and it it wasn't good. It was not good. Normally for the start of a League of Legends season, you get we get this big cinematic film that contains different league champions battling it out and fighting over like Runeterra. That's the big lore story. All takes place on Runeterra that has different regions like Ionia. I'm blanking on all of the other regions, but I'll toss them on the screen here at this moment. But it was like kind of a big letdown for a lot of League of Legends players and me as well. I don't think the cinema really encapsulated what League of Legends means to players. It normally you can take a League of Legends cinematic and show it to new people who have never played the game and go, "Hey, this is the lore of this game. This is what you look forward to when playing this game." Now, obviously, the actual game doesn't quite pan out to be what the cinematic looks to be, but it is still like an enticing and creative thing that they use to push the game. And this year, we didn't get that, and it became the talk of the town all day today, as people saw this as the downfall of Riot are looking to eliminate League of Legends. It has become the older child of things like Valorant and Wild Rift, which I personally do not believe that to be true. Each one of those games has their own personal teams that is not necessarily affected the same way that the League of Legends team can be affected. And for once, and surprisingly, I did not expect this, we did get a message from Riot themselves. The message reads as follow: "We launched the cinematic as a part of season start every year since 2018, and make no mistake, everyone on League knows how much you love them, so do we. This year, there were some unprecedented circumstances that had us choose an alternative approach to season 2023 video. However, we believe it could still embody League's broad universe and competitive spirit while celebrating the start of a new season. Spoiler alert, it did not. It was bad. But we've heard your feedback, and we want to acknowledge Brink of Infinity missed the mark for your action packed, champion led trailer you expect, and has led us to further speculate about our investment in League. Honestly, we should have been more communicative. What have I been saying? They're not really good with communication, and it seems that they notice this, or at least they are acknowledging it. However, we should have been more communicative, which might have helped some of that feeling and speculation. We do believe that League has a bright future and we are investing that, but we can do better of sharing those plans with you. We are committed to giving you more details about that investment in the next couple of days. We really do appreciate your passion, feedback, and the success of League wouldn't be possible without your dedication." And that is the kind of hodgepodge that Riot kind of put out to all of us. It was like, hey, we do care and we do believe that what we did wasn't the right thing. Now, this came out about 2 hours ago, a little bit shortly before the stream started here today. So they kind of saved their butts on some of the points I was going to make about them. But one thing I kind of want to highlight a little bit more is that Riot Reeve 3 came out with a post himself today, which was about 4 or 5 hours earlier today. And he pretty much goes on to talk about, hey, I understand why you'd be upset about what we put out here, but like it's not the viewpoint that we perceive. We're not trying to kill League, nor are we trying to uh shrink it down into this thing that no one wants to do. And this kind of leads into my next point that Riot Reeve talked about, was that during COVID they had to do cutbacks as well as team members left. Like during that work for home situation that many people experienced during COVID, employees sought out other work, and this was not something that didn't happen to Riot. As well as you have to think of Riot's earlier scandals in the prior years about the sexual harassment, where they opened up their severance package to not only the employees who had just started, but all employees who are currently working at Riot. They were allowed, if they wanted, they could leave and take the severance package. And kind of what we I expected at that time. Many rioters took that deal, and why wouldn't you? It was an opportunity during COVID where new jobs were kind of springing up that like took advantage of the work from home lifestyle, as well as giving you a new opportunity. And when you've got like a guaranteed severance package that would like sustain you, why wouldn't you take it and try to explore your new jobs? So I kind of like agree with Red Reeves' point on the fact that they're not downsizing League. It's just that team members that were originally there aren't there anymore. And you can take note of that in like their 2023 announcement video where they announce some of the things coming in this year. Majority of those faces were not people we are used to seeing in these videos, nor were they familiar names. And I think that's kind of part of the loss of talent. So I don't think it's as much as they're cutting back on the budget for League of Legends, but that like the talent to create these masterpieces that we're so used to just aren't there. Uh, and I know the meme for League of Legends players is that everyone at Riot just works on the balance team, and every time something is wrong with the game, you want to complain at every Riot employee. I do want to say probably don't do that. It is not a healthy thing for like you as a person nor a Riot employee. It doesn't make it a work environment you want to work at. When you work in accounting, but because you work at Riot, everyone's like kind of bashing on you and like, hey, fix Udyr, he's broken and stuff. When it's you have nothing to do with that. So I think part of why people would leave Riot is because of the community. We're not the best community. I am someone who does stand and say we are not the worst community. There are plenty of other communities that I could say are 10 times worse than us. But we have our flaws, and we do spread that not only to our esports players, but the actual workers of Riot. So that is something we should work on, but I don't see that changing anytime soon. But it always starts with one person. So, you mean, next time you think about tweeting out, hey, Riot Reeve, you suck, maybe just, don't. Now, on to kind of my final point of the state of League of Legends. I don't think it's dying. I think they have plans to, grow and increase League's reach exponentially across the world. Not necessarily North America, and that'll lead into my LCS rant point. But I think League isn't going anywhere. Riot's not trying to kill League. Riot makes a lot of money off League. We buy a lot of skins. I know I am a person who has spent way too much money on League. We don't talk about that, but if you want to see how much I spent on League, go check out my TikTok. I got a video up there that kind of shows how much I spent on League. It's not pretty, but I think something, if Riot wants to improve on their what public opinion is of right now, it's got to start with communication. Riot has maybe some of the worst communication for a game developer that I've ever seen. And I know some people might point to things like Blizzard of being a like offender, and I think they're like right up there with Blizzard at this point with kind of the atrocities they commit. Maybe not all of the atrocities. Blizzard's got their own stuff, but that's for another video and another person to talk about. So, one thing, what are some of the communication things they can do to improve? In client announcements. It is a thing that is already in the client's ecosystem where they can announce things, but it's not something they take advantage of. And especially with this new season starting and there being two splits, I think that is a system that needs to be taken advantage of more often than not. As well as the fact that when you want to learn something about that's happening to the game, you can't really go to any of the main Riot pages to find out. You have to kind of go find a dev who kind of posted a screenshot of what they're planning to do. And that is not the best way to communicate. Now, does it get your devs like some following on their social medias? Yeah, it definitely does. But if it's not retweeted by the main pages or at least posted in the client, does it matter? Like no, half of the people don't see it, and you all see this in your games when you play and like a new patch has come out. Half the players on your team don't even know what changed in the patch, and someone's playing a champion that just got nerfed to the ground. It's to kind of finalize the communication issue. The in-game client updates need to become more of a thing. I don't like the fact that Riot feels that they can just leave it up to random devs to tell us what's going on. There needs to be not only just a Riot Twitter page that announces all of these things, but the in-client updates. Because not everyone has a Twitter, not everyone has a Reddit, and I'm gonna be real, I don't know a single person who uses the Riot forums. I know you people exist. I'm not criticizing you. We just don't see you use it, so no one looks there. But these updates do need to happen, and we know they can happen because we see them in their other games. The amount of effort that is being put in the other games is why a lot of League of Legends fans believe that League is dying. But we've got to take acknowledge that their teams have definitely downsized. Like for every Riot employee that was probably on a League of Legends team that handled League, you can consider about maybe 2 to 4 employees either went to a different company or ended up working on one of their other projects. You've got Runeterra, Valorant, the highly anticipated MMO. Right? You could scrap League if you give me the MMO tomorrow. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to my State of the League of Legends rant. I don't see League going anywhere anytime soon, and neither should you. Stay tuned for part 2 of this discussion as we talk about the state of the LCS going forward. To let me know if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification. Thank you for all for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.